Hi, Mr. Tim Duffy, K3LR, CEO of DX Engineering, with 13 towers and uncountable Yagis and an antenna farm that's amazing. And hopefully you're going to tell us about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike. And thanks to everybody in the club for inviting me here this evening. This is not a green screen or a fake screen behind me. This is the real deal. This is, you're looking at the two positions here on 80 meters at K3LR, and very proud of one of the amplifiers is the Alpha 77 DX, which is has got the new panels from KF6I out there in California, and it looks beautiful, even though it's almost 52 years old and doing great. So let's go to share my screen here. So we're going to talk about this station here at K3LR, which is the western edge of Pennsylvania. And we're going to talk about specifically multi contesting, which is what I've been doing primarily with my team here at K3LR since 1992. And this is a photo of me when it seems like just, yesterday, but I was 13 years old. I had just passed my general test, and with my CW key, and I was CW is still my first love. I can't get enough of it. I spent last weekend on CW in the CW Sprint, and but I was licensed at 12 years old, so over 50 years in the hobby now. K3LR is right up against the Ohio-Pennsylvania border, about 65 miles northwest of Pittsburgh, also about 65 miles from Cleveland, about 65 miles from Erie, and about 65 miles from Akron, Ohio. So it's centrally located. You can see, if you want to see more stuff about K3LR, go to K3LR.com. There are lots of drone videos of the antennas, videos of contest activities, and lots of still pictures of contest activities at K3LR.com. So 1 mile off the Ohio-Pennsylvania border, and if you're ever driving on Interstate 80 in this area, you can see that now 14 towers. It was 13, but it's now 14 towers. We added another tower last year, and you can see them very easily from Interstate 80. And one of the reasons that this site, this location works so good is it's got a tremendous drop off towards Europe and Japan, about 300 feet, very quickly down to a riverbed. And that really contributes to how well this place works. And taking a look at the north end of the property, showing the 160-meter array. We're going to talk more about that. Also, the phase 4 squares on 80 meters. There's one 4 square here and another 4 square here. And they're broadside on Europe, and then the tall 40-meter tower. In the center of the property is the 15-meter 4-high stack, the 10-meter stack, and then the 20-meter tower as well. Let's go back to the 40-meter tower. The tower itself is 260 feet, but there's a 10-meter beam at 275 feet on the top of the mast. But there are 3 full-size 4-element OWA 40s. And you can see that the director and driven element are very close together. That is known as the optimized wideband array. And all of these antennas on the side of the tower are on ring rotators that allows them to turn around the tower. And this is what the 40-meter tower looks like from one of my neighbor's houses. So you can see that you've got to be a good neighbor to have a tower this tall and doing it well. And just to give you some idea of size, the reflector here on 40 meters is 75 feet long. So this This is the largest 40-meter antenna array in the world, and it's here in Western Pennsylvania. Also, there are antennas for 10 meters and 20 meters on this tower. Here's some 10-meter antennas. There are 11 operating positions here at K3LR, and each one of them has their own antenna system. This is a receiving antenna for 160 meters on the 40-meter tower. This is a horizontal Waller flag. This is actually 2 rectangles of wire. These are fiberglass elements. And sometimes this is the best antenna for receiving on 160. And it is rotatable as well on a ring rotator. And then taking a look up at the busy tower, you can see just how many Yagis and elements are going on. The 20-meter tower here at K3LR has the 80-meter dipole at 245 feet. This is used for the second station on 80 meters. And then there are 4 6-element 20-meter Yagis. They look small compared to the 40-meter Yagis we're just looking at, but this is a 6-element Yagi on 20 meters, and there are 4 of them on this tower, mounted on the top and then the sides of the tower as well. Also, there are 2 2-element 40-meter Moxons. These were designed by W6NL in Los Gatos, and these are very, very good antennas. These are used for the second station on 40 meters. 2-element Moxons at 185 over 120 feet. And looking up at the 20-meter tower, again, it's busy too. Lots going on. The 10-meter tower has 4 8-element Yagis at 135 over 100 over 66 over 33 feet. And now that 10 meters is getting good, this is a bomb. This is a really, really good antenna system. On 15 meters, this is 160 feet over 120 feet over 80 feet over 40 feet, 7-element Yagis, and they are really, really good antennas. And at the top of the tower is a 10-element 6-meter Yagi that is primarily used to find noise. Getting noise sources figured out and solved is a really big issue here at K3LR. Back in 2018, we had to replace the 20-meter tower. Here is the old tower. You can see the faded paint on the old tower. Here's the new tower here, and then the 100-ton crane came in. That is one of my favorite things to have, is the 100-ton crane, and 100-ton crane getting ready to put the new tower in place. And you can see here the ring rotators are now in place on the tower, getting ready for the Yagis. All of the guy wires here at K3LR are Philly strands, so they're non-conductive. The top of the 20-meter tower, these are all Pyrod towers here at K3LR, solid steel legs, so it's not pipe. It's solid steel, very strong, with the DX Engineering 3-inch thrust bearing at the top. And this is 2 out of the 4, so there are 4 total Yagis, but here are 2 of the Yagis getting ready to go into place for 20 meters on the 20-meter tower. Notice that this is the reflector back here, the driven element, and then the first director is very close, just like on 40 meters, for the optimized wideband array, so that you don't have to have a gamma match or a T match. It's direct 50 ohms matching, and it stays 50 ohms across the entire band. The top 20-meter Yagi going into place with the tower crew up on the tower. Here's that 20-meter beam. Skilled tower guys up here on the top of the tower, using all the DX Engineering hardware, DX Engineering coax, and then, of course, the steps that go up to the 80-meter dipole in case we need to service it. But and you can see this tower also has lights on it. There are 2 towers here that exceed 200 feet, so they are registered with the FCC and the FAA. and have lighting and marking per the requirements. And then looking at the rig expert from the top of the tower to make sure that the SWR is good on the antenna. The AA54 rig expert shows a very flat SWR. Let's go back to 40 meters for a minute. This is the 40 meter driven element on the 3 full-size 4-element 40 meter Yagis. I had a guy who came across Interstate 80 one day, and he says, "You don't have to have an antenna that big on 40 meters." I said, "Yeah, but it's a lot more fun when you do." And 2.5 inches outside diameter here in the middle. The red tape signifies right on red. That's where the center conductor is going to go. And the shield's going to go on the left-hand side. Very thick garolite plate for the 4-element 40 meter Yagis. And you can see here the first director is 4 feet away from the driven element. And even though these elements are almost 75 feet long, there's still not a lot of sag. It's about 28 inches of sag, which is very good for a 40 meter Yagi. And you can see the trucks in the background there on Interstate 80. Another shot of the full-size 4-element 40. And then back in 2019, we actually replaced all the 4-element 40s with new designs and new aluminum, brought back that 100-ton crane, and here we go again, putting up antennas with the big crane and doing it right. This is one of the geochrons here at the K3LR shack. We have 4 geochrons here. 2 are mechanical, 2 are digital, and this one is on the largest TV I was able to buy. It is full-time for geochron here at K3LR, locating sunrise and sunset. We use large feed line here at K3LR. We want to make sure that every antenna system has less than 1 dB of loss. And so here's our friend Chris, KD8YVJ, and he can't even get his hand around the 1 5/8 that we use on 10 meters and 15 meters, and even on 160. So speaking of 160, here's the 160 antenna. It starts out as a quarter wave on 160, a tower, and then there are 4 T-wires that surround this antenna at 45 degrees, 135, 225, and 315, and they can be used as a parasitic Yagi. So this, by doing this, we float or unhook from ground these 2 blue wires, and then if we ground the yellow wire here on the right, it becomes a director, and it's got its own radial system. And then in the back, we have another T wire, which is yellow, and we put in a small inductor in series with it. It becomes a reflector. So you get a reflector, driven element, director. It's over 5 dB of gain and about 30 dB of front to back on 160 meters. And looking at the base of the T wires, you can see the 120 radials underneath the T wire. And the relays are located in this box. And then at the base of the driven element, the tower, 120-foot tower, you can see the 1 5/8 hard line going to it, as well as a broadcast style ceramic insulator, and then 300 radials underneath that really provide a good ground screen for this vertical. And to 80 meters, there are 8 towers that are dedicated to 80 meters. They have 120 radials underneath, and it's a broadcast style installation with silver solder. Another example of that. Here's the center 4 towers, and they're comprised of the 2 4 squares. And you can see all the copper that is involved. And recently we replaced the steel towers with aluminum towers that are all welded together. So you got 60 feet of tower all welded together, and then a 2-inch stinger on top so that we can tune them to the exact same resonant frequency. Just beautiful, these aluminum towers from Universal Tower in Michigan. And the bottom of the new installation, you can see here the aluminum towers that are all welded onto their plate, and then the DX Engineering custom designed insulators underneath, ready to go. And here's one of the four squares. There are two four squares on 80 that are side by side, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then by using the Comtech Systems hybrid, we're able to shoot this in 4 different directions electronically with good gain and great front to back. We also have 4 squares on 40 meters, 20 meters, 15 meters, and 10 meters. Here's the 4 square on 15 meters used for a receiving station. For receiving on 80 and 160 meters, we do not have beverages here, but we have these short verticals that work very, very well in a phased array from High Z Electronics, and now owned by DX Engineering. 23-foot verticals. You can see they're a little tough as they blend in to the background, but 23-foot verticals. Here's 2 of them, the 180-degree one and the 135-degree one. And this allows very good directivity without having to have beverage antennas. Inside the control box are the hybrid combiners that allow the directional control. We use this on 80 and 160 meters, and the coaxial chokes that make sure that the feed lines stay cold. My best friend W3YQ and I tuning up the array here. We met each other on 80 meters over 50 years ago. I introduced him to his now wife on 80 meters as well. And they've been married over 40 years. And now W3YQ lives about a mile away and has really has been a great friend. Wiring up all the chokes on 160 and 80 for the High Z 8-circle array. And the bottom of one of these verticals on the 23-foot verticals for receiving is a nice little box here with the buffer amplifier from High Z, as well as the chokes that keep the coax lines cold. And all of the buffer amplifiers that it takes to do the arrays here at K3LR. And inside the choke boxes is number 31 ferrite, 2.4 inches in diameter, and then 26 turns of small 75 ohm coax. The house here at K3LR, built in 1865, has been fully restored, and lots of things added to it since 1865, like running water, air conditioning, etc., and a world-class amateur radio station. We have our own 50 kilowatt transformer from the Pennsylvania Power Company that supplies our AC mains power. In the event that fails, then we do have a 50 kilowatt Kohler generator that comes online 7 seconds after a power outage. It is an 8-cylinder Chevy engine running on natural gas. The shack at K3LR, 11 separate operating positions, and we'll describe those. These are the 2 80-meter positions that I'm sitting in front of right now, along with 2 amplifiers. The 160-meter position is right over here, and one of the mechanical geochrons is right there too. We have 2 cable entrances. All the feed lines are buried here at K3LR, and you can see the 7/8 feed lines coming in, also one of the large 1 5/8, and then more 1 5/8 over here at the northeast cable entrance, and more 7/8 cables as well. We have 13 ground rods just below the operators here in the shack that go right through the floor. So we have a very good connection to ground, and you can see the CAD welding that is done. And operators operating at K3LR with Doug K1DG and Ward N0AX on CW. And then on phone, you can see the boom microphones here at K3LR with K3UA. And also N6MJ from Los Angeles, California, who is an exceptional operator and has been here several times. Really, really good rates and very high accuracy. Taking a look at the 10-meter second station with its 4 rotators, its amplifier, this is the run station amplifier, and antenna boxes. We have custom designed antenna switches from W3YQ. This is the one for the 40-meter station. We talked about that 3-high stack on 40 meters, 260 over 190 over 120. And right now the operator is selected to put 1/3 of the power into each one of these antennas. 15 run with its 4-high stack. Here's the switch box for that. And here are 2 of our 15-meter operators, Bob N6TV from San Jose, California, and David N6AN from Los Angeles, operating on 15 meters here at K3LR. And they have to coordinate because only one of them can transmit at a time. And there is a lockout box that makes sure that only one transmitter on 15 meters is going. They have selected the bottom 3 antennas known as Bot 3. So it's 120 over 80 over 40. And they also have a heads-up display to make sure that they know what's going on. I love the Drake W4 watt meters. Some of these watt meters are over 60 years old. And so we had to replace the SO239s to make sure that they work properly. Size does matter. And this is the rotator controls for 40 meters, 260 over 190 over 115 feet. And this is an amazing antenna system. I have single band amplifiers here that I've designed and tweaked over the years. This happens to be the one on 15 meters. And when you don't have a band switch involved, it's very simple. Single 8877 running 1500 watts output. And each amplifier has its own 4000 watt or 4000 volt power supply. And this is the 20-meter run position, showing the 4 rotator boxes for the 4-high stack on 20. And both positions now on 20, the search and pounce station and the CQing station on 20 meters, along with their amplifiers. And they both have 2 independent antenna systems. The 2 positions for 10 meters, going to be very busy this year, with 10 meters being very good, with enhanced sunspots. 160 meters, lots going on here, lots of receiving antennas. And I operate the CW contests for 160 meters in the DX contest. And John N2NC does the phone contest here on 160. Showing you the horizontal wall or flag control, the DX Engineering noise canceling controller that allows us to phase 2 antennas together on 160 for an even better directive pattern. We use the Bose QC15 headsets to make sure that these are noise canceling. And when you've got 11 operators in the shack, this is very, very important. We use the ICOM IC7851 as our radio of choice. Very, very reliable, great roofing filters, and just great performance all the way around. Here's my good friend Al N5UM, who operates here and during the phone contests on 75 meters with me. And Al taking a little nap over at 4 o'clock in the morning. But you can also see the Intel NUC computers that we're using now instead of the desktops. 4 inches by 4 inches by 1.5 inches, operating on 13.8 volts. Very, very good computers, Windows computers. Another shot of the Intel NUC computers. To share the two foursquares on 80 meters between the two stations, we have the custom designed W8WWV 80 meter XL twin turbo +2. We have high power harmonic filters here to make sure that we keep interference as low as possible between the stations. And when the operators aren't operating, they're hanging out at the DX barn. And this is DX gas. This is a sign that I found in Oklahoma and shipped it up here. And we turn it on at the end of every contest here at K3LR. Inside the DX barn is a full kitchen, restrooms, and shower ready to go, and sleeping for 8 upstairs, and also my QSL collection of over 100,000 QSL cards here in the back. Operators having fun at K3LR, world-class John VE3EJ and Andy N2NT. Andy's also chairman of the CQ160 contest, and I've known Andy for over 50 years, and they're having fun on 20 meters. Here's Andy and John, K1AR. K1AR is chairman of the CQ Worldwide contest, and comes here twice a year to operate 20 meters with his friend Andy. And we have a great time doing it. Here's Dave, KM3T, taking a little nap at about 4 o'clock in the morning on 20 meters, waiting for the band to open. And we use the DX Engineering foot switches on SSB for push to talk. And here's our lockout box for the run and the malt stations to make sure that only one transmitter is on the air at a time. And here's our heads-up display on 20 meters. Notice the aluminum box, which shows the lockout situation. This is in front of the malt station. So when the light is out, that means that the malt station can transmit. When the light is on, that means that the run station is transmitting and the malt station will be locked out. So here's the controller for the 20 malt station, showing the 150 over 100 stacked array, and the BIP means both in phase and BOP is both out of phase. Also the controls for the 20 meter foursquare. K1AR and KM3T having fun at K3LR, and we do have fun, but we are serious about winning here. NP4G Otis, who recently went to Bouvet with George N3GJ, and Otis on 10 meters, very fluent in English and also in Spanish, which is very handy on 10 meters. And sometimes conditions are not very good on 10, but I expect this fall and winter they will be spectacular. Here's Phil, K3UA, works for DX Engineering, and Justin, G4TSH from London, England. Justin likes to come here during the CQ Worldwide CW contest and operate 80 CW. So here's most of the positions are manned. These are the two 20 meter positions, the two 10 meter positions, the two 15 meter positions with only one operator, 160, and then the two on 40 meters. I'm very proactive with having youth involved here at K3LR. This is Bryant, KG5HVO, and Violetta, KM4ATT, in the CQWPX phone contest in 2019 on 20 meters. Also VE7DZO and K6JO on 40 meters. These operators were filling out thank you cards, thanking everybody that donated to the GoFundMe page that raised over $5,000 so these youth operators could fly to K3LR. And the 6 youth operators had never operated together before. Joining them was Marty, NN1C, and Tommy, HA8RT. This is the first time anybody from Tommy's, he's from Hungary, first time anybody from his family had flown outside of Europe. He flew to the US. And these 6 operators They did all the operating in this contest. Team Exuberance. Marty had said if they made 3,800 contacts, that they should be in good shape to win. At the end of 48 hours, these 6 operators, no adults ever made any contacts. These 6 operators made over 6,000 contacts, which was good for number 1 in the US, number 1 in North America, and number 4 in the world. Was an incredible thing. And we've had youth operators here in the Youth DX adventure since here this past summer. So very pro on getting youth operators here at K3LR. Here's young Michael, W3MLJ, operating K2M. Every year, K2M is hosted here at K3LR, part of the 13 Colonies event. We get visitors from all over the world. Here's a visitor from Finland. Also Riley, K4ZDH, and our friend Hal, W8HC, visiting K3LR. Riley used to be with the FCC, and he gave the white glove treatment here at K3LR, and we passed. We do a lot of statistics here at K3LR. We keep track of QSOs and multipliers and how we've done over the years. We also contribute to the Reverse Beacon Network. These are the 6 Nook computers that are on the Reverse Beacon Network that are part of the CW skimmers here at K3LR. And you can see the software-defined receivers, the Perseus SDRs that I hand carried from Italy, and they are exceptional receivers for contributing to the CW skimmer and the Reverse Beacon Network. Lots of ferrite here at K3LR to keep the RFI down, and always using analog power supplies, very linear power supplies, no switching power supplies, no Apple chargers, etc. That's how you keep the noise floor very low. We make coffee 1 cup at a time here using the Flavia system. It takes a lot of food to take care of 12 to 13 operators over the course of 48 hours. These are the snacks. Our chef, Sal, WM2H, who is a great operator, but he's an even better cook, and he's getting the filet mignon ready to go into the smoker. And Sal takes very good care of us over the weekend, and that's very important. And everybody eats while they're operating. N2NC makes breakfast on phone, and I take care of the breakfast duties on CW. And so you can see here, this is what breakfast looks like. We use WindTest as our logging software, written by a French rocket scientist, and it is very stable. Great logging program for us, and keeps track of our QSOs, our CQ zones, and DXCC countries. This was from a few years ago, and I'm thinking we could get back to this level this year, almost 13,000 QSOs over the course of a weekend, and 170 countries on 10 meters. I'm a voracious QSLer, so every DX station that works K3LR gets a QSO card. And I also like our t-shirts. This is Team K3LR in CW. At the end of each contest, we exchange scores with our competitors on 3830, on 75 meters, with like W3LPL, K1LZ, and R4M, KC1XX. Sometimes we win a plaque. This was during an RTTY contest. And here's what it takes to do a contest here at K3LR. ILTHRS. I love this ham radio stuff. And Sal had brought his girlfriend, Liv, along to help with the cooking duties that weekend in 2017. 2014 crew included N6MJ from Los Angeles, KL9A from Montana, N6TV from San Jose, and 6 a.m. from Los Angeles. So good crew all the way around. It takes a lot of guys to do these contests. And here's 2018 with our good friend Dan, K1TO, and Bob, N6TV, and 6am, K5GN from Houston, Texas. Great operators all the way around. And the real reason we do this is these guys are my best friends. And many of these guys I've known for over 50 years. One of the things I'm most proud of is the fact that we do tours here at K3LR during the summer months. This is the University of Pittsburgh Pitt Panther W3YI club, along with their mentor and faculty advisor Juan NA0B. They spent the whole day here at K3LR. We talked about ham radio. We talked about studying hard in college, and we also talked about life after college. So we do many of these tours every year here at K3LR. And that is my presentation